Yup. Hello! If you're new here, I've done that. If you're new here, my name's Victoria. I do family vlogs, homeschool vlogs, and talking about homeschool or home education related things. This is my glamorous assistant Jeremiah. He's 5 months. And he just had his jabs, hasn't he, Doc? So he's a bit grumpy. That's why I've got to stand uphill. If I sit down, there'll be hell to pay. Right? I just wanted to talk about, offer a bit of encouragement about the rising cost of living and will it affect your homeschool or home education or your ability to start homeschooling or home educating. And I'm just doing it because a couple of people have messaged me on Instagram saying they'd love to homeschool, but with the rising cost of living that's not going to happen for them now. And I thought you can still do it. And I get it. My husband's in a job where he's working himself to death, and they've recently what's the word? I'm trying not to swear. They've recently took the mick with him one too many times. He wants to leave, but he was looking. I found him a different job, but it's 10 grand a year less. And with the rising costs, I don't know. I get it. It's a worry for everybody. Nobody knows how bad it's going to be, but you can still. I've run a little list here. I've done a little list of how it can help you, because you can still homeschool. You can still educate. First bit off, you're going to have to cut back, prioritise things, but you're going to have to do that anyway, whether you're homeschooling or not. You know, you're going to have to try and find the best deal you can for your electric, try and turn lights off when you leave the room, things like that, try and find better deals for things, but you're going to have to do that anyway. That's not a homeschool thing, that's just what's going to happen. And it is possible, and it's not a bad thing. Well, it is a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. If you think about our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, I mean, my mum often says to me, well, not dead often, but she says to me, we didn't have tax credits when you were little, we had to manage. And they did. My granddad was one from a family of 24 kids, and they were in a 2-bedroomed house, and they were poor. And he grew up into an individual that could make things out of nothing and could budget, and he was never without money because he learnt them skills as a child. I'm not saying kids should be living in poverty, and I'm not saying they should be doing without things they need, but they will learn skills that we forgot because we've had it easy. You know, they'll learn how to mend the shoes, and they'll learn that rather than just go buy another pair, and they'll learn how to turn the lights off, and they'll learn that, like for instance, Easter eggs at the co-op, they're £4 for the little ones and £6 for the big ones. I'm not paying that. I went to the corner shop and the little ones are £1.25 and the big ones £2.50. I'm going to get them from there. So just skills like that, even just shopping around, and you'd be surprised how many people are on twice as much money we are, and they're in debt because they haven't got them kind of basic survival, finding the best deal, making things last, binning things that don't need to be binned, that can be reused. They haven't got them kind of skills. So try and think of it like that. You are going to have to make these money saving changes, but it is also something you're going to have to do anyway, and an opportunity to teach your kids these skills that they're going to need in adult life, because you don't know when the economy is going to crash, or when they're going to have times when they haven't got a job, or they're going to have times when tough things are hard. That my parents' generation and my grandparents' generation were incredibly capable people, and if our kids, we don't know how bad this is going to be, but if our kids cope through this and we help them to see this is how you cope through a situation like this, they're going to grow up into incredibly capable, practical people as well. And that's one of the things I want for my kids, that they're going to grow up capable, able to look after themselves. Right, well, I already said that. Oh, now, the other thing is, don't be disheartened. Don't think, oh, you know, I can't afford to home educate, they'd be better off at school where it's free. 1, schools are not free, your taxes pay for it. And 2, a lot of my friends' kids go to school, and the school is constantly on the ear roll wanting money off you. Secondary school, they're doing a skiing trip, they want £1,000 off the parents. Friend of mine's got kids in junior school, she's got to pay 70 quid for a leavers due, £95 for a 2-night trip, £200 plus for a secondary school uniform. The cardigans at the junior school are £20 each. You know, World Book Day costumes, nativity costumes, Red Nose Day costumes, bake sales. They're constantly on the ear roll for money, wanting money off you for this, that and the other. So, yeah, you're still going to have to pay for things if you home educate, well, you're still going to have to budget. But you decide what that money goes on, and you decide how that money is spent. No school's going to write to you saying, oh, we want £70 per head, per kid for a junior school leavers due, which is outrageous if you ask me. And if you don't pay it, your kid don't get to go, and your kid's going to be the only kid in the class that doesn't go and they'll miss out, and then you feel like you've got to pay it. So you are in control of the money. It doesn't matter how small that money margin gets, you are in control of what it's spent on. No school's telling you you've got to spend £200 on a uniform. You can get their clothes from the charity shop, or hand-me-downs, or somebody gives them to you. You haven't think, oh, I've got to pay £50 for a school blazer. What was the other thing? What was the other thing? Oh, don't eat it. Don't eat it. You dropped his nunu, haven't you? I don't think you've any toys in here, my love. Just 1 minute, when you look at Pinky's ear much. And to keep his little hands busy. The last thing is, you can homeschool for next to nothing, for nearly free. And I'm going to do another video about that, about the free resources that are available. Because there are an awful lot of free things. You know, nature walks are free. Getting books out of the library's free. Tutorials on YouTube's free. Google free resources, free printables, all that's free. There's an awful lot that is free. Socialisation's free. If they want to, if you and a load of homeschool mums want to meet up, now the weather's picking up, instead of spending like 30 quid for you, depending on how many kids you've got, 30 quid for you all to go to a soft play for 2 hours and have like chips and what have you, go to the park, pack some sandwiches, it's free. And the other thing is, you can find cheaper alternatives for things. I know somebody who pays, she pays She pays £60 a month for her kids to go to a once a week karate class. She also has to drive and use diesel to get to the town it's in, because it's £30 each per month per child. The taekwondo class that my oldest used to go to, but he had an altercation with the instructor, is up the street. I haven't got to drive, get the bus, anything. And it's £2 each per session. And you don't have to pay if you don't turn up, whereas this £30 a month one is prepaid, so if you don't go, you're still paying it. So just find cheaper alternatives. Things like museums are often free, and they just give you always just a donation. There's a steam train place that we used to love going to. It was shut last year because of COVID. I'm hoping it's going to reopen. You can either go, I could either go to the big steam train station in the second nearest town and pay £14 each to ride a steam train to the little steam train station, which is in my mum's village, or we can walk to the one in my mum's village, take the dog, take a picnic, get in that way for free, and you get to go around all the exhibits for free. The only thing you're not doing is riding the actual steam train, which you can still see, and you can pay £2 each to go on the mini one that takes you just around the circuit instead. So you can find lots of cheaper alternatives for things. And just because you're finding cheaper alternatives for things, it doesn't mean your kids are missing out. It doesn't mean you're a skinflint. It doesn't mean you're a mean mum or anything like that. You're just making the best decision for your family budget-wise. And even if there wasn't a rising cost of living crisis, that's a sensible way to do things anyway, because them pennies you save, you can spend them on something else. Oh, hello. And I genuinely think, and I already said this, but I genuinely think you being not mean, but you being frugal where you can be frugal, and having a blowout where you can. Say all them extra pennies you've saved, you have a blowout at Christmas or whatever. Your children will appreciate the free things and the simple things, and that will rub off on them. That spending money doesn't necessarily mean it's better, and it'll rub off on them about budgeting and things like that, which are good life skills. It doesn't matter if you can quote every single line of a Shakespeare play and you've had an exam for it and passed it. That's not going to help you in life if you've blown all your money and you're bankrupt. If you can budget and look after yourself and get through hard times, that's going to stand you in good stead. So don't be disheartened. It doesn't mean you can't home educate. It doesn't mean the quality of your home education is going down either. So there's a little encouragement for you. Come here, you. Come here. What are you doing? Oh, and there's also places that you do pay to get into, but the deals. Crouch Tramway, for instance, it's like a tram museum, but they've also got nature walks and you can ride the trams and stuff like that. They have one standard ticket price, but you can go as often as you want through that year. So there are lots of deals out there. Hello. Excuse me. So I hope that helps. I hope that's a little bit of encouragement. If you're not subscribed already, please do. And if you like what I have to say, please check out my Patreon. I'm trying to make it worth everybody's while to be on my Patreon, so I keep uploading videos on there and posting stuff. I'll see you next time, my loves. Oh, if you've got any tips, put them in comments, because everybody will appreciate them.